And moving on with rock and roll, Toyah Wilcox and R.Fripp are one of show business's most recognisable couples. They had some massive hit records. Well, Toyah on her own and R.Fripp as a member of King Crimson had great hit records. But during lockdown, their brilliant Sunday Lunch YouTube videos were incredible. They really were. And what they're going to be doing now, they got such a reaction to those Sunday Lunch videos that they're coming to the Lowry to celebrate both their careers. So to find out more, I sat down with Toyah and Robert earlier this week.
Well, when the dreaded lockdown started, we just didn't know what was going on, like everyone else. And we're live musicians, and performing is our oxygen, and our audience is quite simply our family. And we put this jive video out on a Sunday lunch, about 9th of April, and we got 100,000 replies within 5 minutes from around the world. New Zealand, Bali, Manila, Hong Kong, and it was all from people who were alone. And we decided that we would just continue posting these Sunday lunch videos, which was very absurd. We don't take ourselves seriously. And it grew and grew and grew till we had 111 million visitors to Toyah YouTube channel. And we now feel we want to take this out into a live environment, touring, myself and R.Fripp, and we just want to share the love now.
If I look back, Robert, I think we're of a similar age, and I started in bands in the 60s, and you've come through that with King Crimson and then onwards through these decades. We're here now, it's 2023. When you look at your start in rock and roll and where you are now, it just fascinates me what a journey that's been. How do you view it?
Well, I view myself strapping on and rocking out these rock classics with my wonderful little wife, very much like the last time I strapped on and rocked out with the League of Gentlemen in 1965. In between, I seem to have been sidetracked into writing music and playing with good musicians. This strange material, which has been accepted by some, but rejected by most people in the mainstream. So I might as well go back to what I began doing, which is playing great rock songs with my chums. In this case, my bestest chum in the world, little Wilcox.
I'd like to abbreviate that answer, if I may. My husband has ended up working with David Bowie, one of the main guitarists on Scary Monsters, on Heroes. He's worked with Blondie. He's actually worked with them all, and they're all legendary musicians.
Yeah, but none of them played Enter Sandman or Paranoid or I Want to Be Free. I mean, come on.
What do you do in terms of, because you will have your different musical directions, how do you decide so that it's a proper team effort what the actual songs are going to be?
Yeah, they have to suit who we are. Without a shadow of a doubt, we've got to do these versions absolutely brilliantly. And we are doing Enter Sandman and we are doing Paranoid. And they have to be Toyah and Robert doing them. So we sit down, and I usually start off with a list of songs that I love, and I love classic rock. And then Robert listens to it, he says, I love that, I really love that. And we both develop a passion for the same song, and then we work out how we're going to do it. So the tour that we're doing, the Toyah and Robert Rock Party / Sunday Lunch tour, is a celebration of how incredible heritage rock is. And it is breathtaking. And we're going to be covering people from David Bowie because of Robert's history with David Bowie. We're doing my hits as well, but we're also dipping our toes in with Mark Allman, Tainted Love, Blondie, many other artists that we're playing the songs of.
Metallica Enter Sandman is not one that I would normally expect me to play, but this popped up on a Sunday lunch. Which is actually our highest ever viewing figures. So look, the riffs in Metallica are phenomenal, so rock out with that.
So, ahead of their show at the Lowry later this year, Toyah Willcox and Robert Fripp, you can hear the second part of our chat in the next hour. Let's return, though, now to my conversation with Toyah Willcox and Robert Fripp. Of course, Toyah had some of those amazing early 80s post-punk, in a way, was Toyah's time. And her husband, Robert Fripp, was originally in King Crimson, but they had this amazing Sunday lunch videos during lockdown on YouTube. And basically, Robert playing guitar and Toyah looking very youthful, jumping about in their kitchen. And the amount of views they got was incredible worldwide. And I wanted to find out from them at the start of this conversation how they were preparing for that transition from being on YouTube as a couple to being on stage as a couple.
Well, we've done 5 secret gigs already, and 3 of them had to call in extra security. It turned into an absolute riot. The audience got very, very excited.
Where the mountains meet and like spit stains on the scenery.
It is a transition. So we're very much going out there with a large band. It's a show band. It's got 8 musicians.
Yeah, we have 2 keyboard players who sing, wonderful electronic drummer, 2 guitarists.
3 guitarists.
Well, that's when you add me. And if everyone sings, and it's been suggested by me that I don't join in the BVs on this one, there can be 7 people singing and me cheering them on.
So what we've developed is a very big rock show which honours, totally by accident, 50% of the songwriters are American, 50% are English. So it's a complete celebration of this kind of heritage rock. And we're calling it a rock party. It is absolutely inevitable that Robert and my humour is going to come onto that stage, but the humour isn't the carrying force. The carrying force is the shared love of music. So when we're on the road in October, we're going to use the imagery of Sunday Lunch as part of the projection screen production, so that the posters are going to keep flashing up. And what we've learned is that the posters are what people identify with. Now, if anyone's listening who's never seen what we do on social media, there's always a very big, colourful poster in the background saying something like, Fripp is my or and these posters are going to be up on the big screen as we're performing. So we're bringing in the visuals of Sunday Lunch via media while doing an incredibly live rock show.
So the question is how to honour the spirit of Sunday Lunch. Well, the quick answer is, Mike, we're going to have fun and we're going to rock out. There is nothing solemn here whatsoever. We are aiming to give people a good time.
Final question to the two of you, and I get where you're at, Robert. My wife's my best mate. I adore the woman, but she's not in the music business. And it's interesting. I often wonder with Viv how we'd get on if she was a really successful broadcaster, which is what I do now, and singer. And you two you've got to have egos to get to where you are. I know that you really care for one another. That comes over. That always came over, funnily enough, in the kitchen videos, your affection for one another. But how do you balance that? Robert wants this, or Toyah wants this?
That's an
We typically fight.
that's an easy one, Mike. You learn to say yes, dear.
Well, there we are. Can I just say it's wonderful talking to the two of you. I remember getting an Ireland sampler. I think it might have been called You Can All Join In, but it might not have been. But it had
Nice enough to eat.
nice enough to, and it had Court of the Crimson King on. So that's when I first.
No, it had Schizoid Man. on
Schizoid
it.
Man, it did, and that it did, and that's when I first discovered you. And then Toyah, I've met because of radio various times since, like, maybe the middle of the 80s. But it's brilliant talking to the two of you, and you're coming to a great rock and roll city when you come to Manchester. I hope you realise that.
We do. Respect.
You take care, both of you. Robert, thanks for being with us. Toyah, thanks for being with us.
Pleasure. Thank you, Mike.
Bless you, Mike.
It was a great conversation. I just want to apologise on behalf of the BBC if our bleeps weren't up to our normal standard. Robert Fripp and Toyah Wilcox, you can see their Sunday lunch rock party live at the Lowry here in Salford, just across the water, on the 9th of October.